Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, June 17th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarification points. Number one, this price over here you see will still be moving around, and that candlestick will still be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then next, I will be using the 30-minute time frame. So for beginners out there, what that means is each one of these candlesticks, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ADN, and what a monster this thing was today. Had a huge gap up already, and then after the gap up, continued to make a move. But with this pullback here, that's what's presenting a nice little potential setup here moving forward. So if you like to play this price range, then this is one that's certainly getting a lot of volatility and a lot of volume in it. So a couple of the key levels that stand out. First one here from a pullback standpoint is this previous breakout area right down here around $3.50. And I suppose it didn't hit it exactly, but got pretty close there. And right there, so 350 becomes a very interesting level to keep an eye on Friday from any sort of pullback perspective. And then for those of you that like to play breakouts, key area from a breakout standpoint, in my opinion at least, is right there at 425. In my mind, that's more so the truer level of resistance. Now, of course, there are no guarantees, but my point is if the price can get up there, and key part here being a high volume break, then I don't see why it doesn't have a very good chance of getting up beyond those highs right there and potentially up above $4.50. But again, 425 in my mind has got to be broken with a good high amount of volume. So keep those two levels in mind, and let's see how this one closes out the week on Friday. Next one, ELMS, and this is an interesting one. First off, because it's a penny stock, and I know a lot of popularity out there with penny stocks. It's got good volume, but the key part here is this pullback, which may sound a little backwards to think that, okay, how is a pullback a good thing? Well, that at least, now, of course, there are no guarantees, but it at least eliminates the worry of, am I buying the top? Am I suffering from FOMO right now, right? Am I chasing the price? No. The people that chase the price, that suffer from FOMO, fear of missing out, they were buying up there. So yeah, not good for them. But for those people that, haven't, well, then now you have a pullback here. Once again, does that guarantee that it's going to be a winning trade? No, but at least you can eliminate that one worry that you're not suffering from FOMO and that you are playing a pullback. And in fact, in me drawing that downwards channel and then drawing this upwards momentum move right here, what we have here in the world of technical patterns is a bull flag pattern. So if you like to play bull flag patterns, if you like to play penny stocks, then here you go. Next one, SIDU, an absolute monster today, another big gap up. But the reason why I like this one the most, and I did this one in yesterday's video, that's where the green line comes into play, but completely irrelevant after today. But the reason why I like this one by far the most is, and let me set up a little context, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that this is some sort of special talent or a secret discovery. This is something that a lot of people are able to do and have done. And because of that, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So I assure you, a lot of people have gone out there and drawn that line right there at $8 and, give or take 75 cents, and are going to be watching that area as a key breakout point. You can see numerous times price got up around that area and could just never build any sort of more momentum. So while that does not guarantee anything, what does happen is it makes it a very plausible scenario and a very, rational thought on your part that if the price can get up to that area and then break through there, that break could very well create upside buying pressure and additional buying pressure because people are buying because, well, hey, it's a breakout. Once again, there's no such thing as a guarantee in the market, but that is by no means some sort of random thought process to have. As far as areas of support are concerned and pullbacks, pretty clear level of support right there around that $7 mark, so keep an eye on that. But in my opinion, at least, definitely the most interesting dynamic by far is all about that 875 mark. So let's see if the price can get a break of it or not. Next one, XELA, and interesting for one reason, and I think hopefully it's kind of obvious, is nothing was really going on earlier on in the day. I mean, volume very minimal, price wasn't doing much, and then all of a sudden, kaboom, the price went. And yes, there is a pullback here, but still, the point here is that something pretty crazy happened. And that's the whole idea of a watch list, is you find unique situations, you find interesting situations, and not just randomly buy, but you watch them and see if they eventually behave in a way that fits your personal trading strategy. So there's no doubt about it that this was quite the interesting, quite the crazy scenario. Maybe this is the beginning of the end. Maybe this thing will drift back into oblivion, and okay, so be it. However, maybe, just maybe, this is a bull flag that's going to get a break back to the upside and gain that much momentum. That is also a possibility. No guarantees, but that's our job as traders, to find those interesting situations and then watch them and see if they behave in a way that fits our personal risk tolerance. So like I said, from a penny stock perspective, from a volume perspective, and then just from a flat out, wow, interesting, crazy action perspective, this one should definitely be on your watch list. Next one, AMC, which was just a shockingly bad day. Not necessarily because it was red, but because yesterday when I did this video, or did the video and was talking about AMC, I was thinking and talking about, all right, it's within striking distance of that breakout point. And in passing, I said, yeah, and there is this green line down there. But I mean, it's almost irrelevant at this point because the price is so far away from it. But then today, big gap down, came down to that green line and still even broke down below it. So like I said, that's why I say it was a really bad day, was not because it was red, but because it's now down below this line, which had been doing such a good job of showing the uptrend that it had accomplished, which brings back now the first key update, and this is based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance, which has already happened a couple of times here. So that trend line here, you can see now, is starting to behave as an area of resistance. So that puts the key level of resistance moving on Friday up around $12. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the price can ever get back up above that line. I'm just saying that, it's crazy to think, how yesterday it seemed irrelevant, and then today not only did it become relevant, but then it failed as support. In terms of areas of support now moving forward, I should say new levels, first key level going to be right there at $11.40, and then after $11.40, just in case that one is tested and broken, next key level, which is definitely a very, very important level, is those lows down there at $11.10. Real quick, I want to take a quick pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage. But one important note, it is live. So I totally understand maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening, or who knows, maybe you're watching this Friday morning and the live event has already happened, but it will be recorded. So if you're still interested in seeing it, then go ahead and drop me an email, clay@claychart.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the recording after everything is completed. So I totally understand if you can't make it, or if you just flat out missed it, just drop me an email and I'd be happy to send you a link to it. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up. Next one, IMPP, and there's definitely a problem here, and I alluded to this problem a couple days ago when I did a video on this one. I talked about how, there's still a chance, but it's all about that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. And then you can see that back on Wednesday, the price did break down below there. And then, as I've already talked about, when levels of support are broken, they tend to act as resistance. And that's the problem we now have. Because, check it out. Back on Wednesday, price tried to bounce, got rejected. And then today, price tried to bounce, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And all 3 times, price is now being rejected by that pink line. So that's just the importance of staying above those supports and not allowing them to become resistance. Now, that doesn't mean that the price can never, ever get back up above that level. I'm just saying that if the price is going to get back up above 60 cents, which is the current value of that moving average, then very apparently the price is really going to have to bring its A game, because that level has gone into just flat out being very annoying and being very stubborn to the price, which, is not shocking given the general, rules of charting. But as far as levels of support are concerned, keep an eye on 48 cents and nothing fancy behind that, other than the fact that that's just basically where the bleeding stopped earlier on in the day. So we'll see what happens with it. But yeah, 60 cents is definitely that key resistance. Next one, AMD, and maybe should have put this at a different location because it follows the same logic as AMC, where yesterday I'm sitting here talking, okay, all right, it's within striking distance of this trend line, could get a breakout. And then not only did it test that first green line, it tested the second green line, and not only did it test both of them, it crushed both of them. So just a brutal day here for AMD, a very, very rough day. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of a couple of these as they've served their purpose for now. But the first update comes, once again, based on the rules we've been talking about. When levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So now moving forward, right around 83.75 is going to be that first key level of resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted, follow through, because there is a little bit of a miniature bounce right here. So if this continues, in my mind, that's where the big question mark comes into play. Can the price break up through there? But even if it does, you still got to keep a very close eye on that purple line, the 50 period moving average, because you can see right there, generally speaking, that was a rejection point that shoved it back down. So just because it gets above 83.75, don't get me wrong, that's a good step in the right direction from the bullish standpoint, but there's still a lot of work that would need to be done. And then again, as far as supports, nothing fancy, nothing complicated, just a question of, okay, where did the bleeding finally stop today? And that was down there at $80.60. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, a very brutal day here for AMD. Next one, REV, which is becoming a very, very interesting scenario. Once again, going back to the whole topic of self-fulfilling prophecies, because there's a couple of very well-defined levels. And, in all actuality, all we have here is just a sideways pattern, or a sideways channel pattern. And it just becomes a big question of, who is ultimately going to win out. So top of the pattern, bottom of the pattern, let's just start with this. Down here at the $1.50 mark, you can see now over the past couple of days, found support, found support, found support. And then at the top of the pattern, let's make this red for resistance. And maybe you see where I'm headed with this. But right up here at that level of, and let's just bring it down to $3 and get this. Okay, so you can see. But you can see right there, basically, or again, generally speaking, $3, $3, and $3. So, and that's the big question. A lot of people have noticed these levels. So you're going to have all sorts of people watching and wondering, okay, well, if the price does get up to the top of that channel and can break through 3, that is the technical pattern breakout. Maybe that's the sign of a bigger move to come. Again, is that a guaranteed thought? Of course not. Is that a logical, rational thought? Absolutely. And same is true down here. You're going to have people thinking, well, if that breaks to the downside, that could be all she wrote and game over. Again, not guaranteed to happen, but certainly a plausible thought process to have. But at the core, that's going to be the big question mark moving forward, is who is ultimately going to win out? Do the bulls win out to the upside? Do the bears win out to the downside? Let's see what happens. Next one, ticker symbol F for Ford. And interesting pattern here. And it's one of these situations where this thing has been beat down so far so fast that you almost got to wonder, is there just at least going to be some sort of dead cat bounce that comes here? And again, dead cat bounce is very much so then some reversal. So when I say bounce, I don't mean, and this thing's going to go back up to $15. This is a day trading perspective. These are trading videos. So again, just keep that context in mind. But we have this trend line here that's now in place. So the price and let me change this as a support. And let's do this real quick. But I could totally see the price right here, maybe rolling back over, retesting that, and then getting some worthwhile bounce in the upwards direction. Once again, no guarantees, so that's why risk management and stop losses are so important. But again, as far as, is that some sort of random thought process? Absolutely. That's now a well-defined trend line right there that you could potentially base some trade plans around, including if you're someone that likes to play shorts. Well, then if the price comes down here and then violates that level, that could just be your leading indicator that this trend is just going to keep on falling apart and moving more and more lower. So as far as supports, I'd keep an eye on that, which is right around, let's call it 1105, 1110. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, in the very near term, you have a bit of a trend line right there. And then from more so the overarching level, as I've talked about in past charts, there, that purple line up there, the 50-period moving average right now at 1193. But the purple line, pretty irrelevant right now until the price can at least get above that area of resistance. But definitely, in my mind, at least an interesting scenario here because it's Ford, it's a popular stock, it gets lots of volume. So we'll see how it ends the week on Friday. Next one, TSLA Tesla. Very brutal day on this one as like AMD. Well, the markets as a whole had a terrible day. So this isn't completely shocking, but it is shocking in the context of how good this was looking going into the close on Wednesday and then how everything just completely fell apart, which brings about our first key update. And that is just, once again, as I've done before, that level of support, which was severely violated today, is now going to be considered an area of resistance. In fact, now that I think out loud, I'm just going to go ahead and drop this level down because in all actuality, the more so near-term level of resistance going to be right there at the $645 mark. And then after that, you still would have the 50-period moving average before even having to worry about that 670 mark. So that's why in my mind, now that I talk out loud and look at it, 670, yes, it's a level of resistance, but not totally relevant right now. So let's just first see if, number one resistance right there can be broken, and then the number two resistance right there. As far as those levels of support, and this is where things could get very, very interesting because the price is now starting to get very close to those former lows down here at, what was that? $620. So, Tesla dropped, what was it? About $60 today. So, to say that this thing's about $40 away, actually not too crazy given it's Tesla. But if the price does roll back over and come down to 620, that is going to be a very, very watched level because the last time I got down there, very nice bounce. Does that mean that it'll for sure bounce again? I wish I could say trading was that easy, but is it at least plausible? Yeah, it very well could bounce, but you're going to have a lot of shorts watching that level too, thinking, could that be another breakout point? So those are going to be the main levels that I watch personally on Tesla for Friday. And that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then get signed up for the live class. Like I said, it'll be this evening, Thursday, June 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely be sure to check it out. But also, like I said, if you already have something on your schedule and it's too last minute, or if you're watching this on Friday morning or whenever, then it will have been recorded. So go ahead and drop me an email and I'd be happy to send it to you. But just realize I can't email you back right away because the event first needs to happen. And after it's completed and I get the recording uploaded, then I can gladly send it to you. So again, but like I said, if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then please do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a simple comment, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But hitting the like button and leaving a basic comment communicate to me that you enjoy, and as long as I know people are enjoying, then I will continue to make these videos. So definitely get signed up for the class or drop me an email, hit that like button, leave a simple comment below. Thanks and take care.